How do you know when it's the right time to take a profit or to cash out of a deal? And how do you make a check like this? Hey guys, what's up? Paul Price here with Retire Rich with Real Estate. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about profits and profit taking. You know, from time to time there is a need to take profits, to cash out of a property. And here's a prime example. I just received this check today for $66,000. This represents the profit I made on a deal that I just closed. This is a property that I've owned for many years, and I finally just decided it was time to sell. And here's why. You know, there may be from time to time a reason to sell or cash out of a property that you own. You know, you need to look at your portfolio and your goals and make sure that they're both aligning. And if you find a property that's, you know, underperforming or just not aligning up with the same goals that you have, you may want to sell that property and take those profits and reinvest those into another property that more aligns with what your goals are. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. I bought this property back in 2008 with the intentions of keeping it until my youngest daughter got into college, and used that particular property to help fund her college education, either to sell it or to use the income coming from it to do so. I did something similar with my older daughter. She's already in college. I've already sold that other property. So, you know, this is the second property that I had intended to do the same thing with. $66,000 is not a bad start for a college fund. But I'm going to take this profit from this property and I'm going to reinvest it. You know, my daughter, she's only in 8th grade, so she's got a little bit more time to go before she gets to college. So I've got a few more years to keep that money rolling and grow that snowball. So I'm going to reinvest this money. But my point is that there are times when we need to cash out. And the reason why I went ahead and sold this instead of just keeping the cash flow coming in from this property and waiting was twofold. I had an opportunity to sell at a good profit, and second of all, it was no longer really aligning with my goals to streamline my portfolio. You know, I want to streamline my portfolio so that it's easier to manage, because I self-manage my properties. And this property is in a neighboring county. It's the only property I have left. I had another property out there, but I only have this one property left, and it became a little bit difficult to go check on it because it was the only reason I would have to go out there is to check on this property. So having them all together in a close proximity makes everything easier to manage and to check on. Right now, 99% of my properties are within a 2 or 3 mile radius of each other here in my home county. So if I can concentrate all my properties in one small area, I can drive around and check on them and make sure that the yards are getting mowed, and things like right now, this time of year in the fall, making sure the leaves are not clogging the gutters and things like that. If I see a problem, then I can get somebody out there to take care of it right away. Those things are very important if you're self-managing your property, because if you're not staying on top of that stuff, it can become a big problem really quickly. And I found it harder and harder to go out there and check on that property because it was the only one I had out there. When I had another property about a half a mile away, I would go out there more often and check on it. And so I think I was neglecting that property a little bit. And that was one reason I was willing to sell it. So another reason that was really kind of a minor reason, but just to throw it out there, just so you might be aware of something like this if you see it happening in your area. You know, the city that my property's in had high taxes, and you had county and city taxes, but the city taxes were kind of high. But also, they had started a registration program, and they sent out a notice and said, hey, you had to register your property. If you don't register within so many days, we're going to fine you every day that you don't register, and things like that. And I'm like, what's all this about, you know? And I had gone to some meetings about, you know, community development and revitalization and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that they're pushing in this city is they want to take these multifamilies, which they have a lot of in this city, and they wanted to turn these multifamilies back into single families. And they were giving away grant money to do that, and they're wanting to get rid of these apartments and turn them into single family dwellings because they think that's better for their economy and for their community. I felt like they kind of had a negative attitude towards rental properties and the landlords. And they started this registration program which required you to register, and it says that they're going to come out and do annual inspections and things like that. And if you don't register, then you would be charged a fee or a fine for every day that it was late and things like that. And I thought, boy, this can't be good. That happened several years ago, and I was talking to one of the inspectors. He's an electrical inspector, and he said he was also over the rental inspections and registration. And I said, well, that's interesting. I said, let me ask you. I registered for this several years ago, and I've never had an inspection. And his answer was, well, we know where our slumlords and our problem properties are, and they're on the top of our list. We'll get to you sooner or later. So it basically means that they set up this program so that they could target the problem slumlords and landlords, and they didn't have to overtly do it. They just said, we're going to have a program, everybody's got to register, and we're going to go we're going to go down a list. Well, the list puts the problem what's on the top, and you go down the list. So obviously I'm way down the list because my properties are in good shape and they're well maintained, but they wanted that option to be able to go after those people. And I knew it's only a matter of time before they do actually work their way down the list and they do start doing inspections. And anytime you've had to do an inspection, you've done these type of things, you understand that these inspectors, they know to keep their job, they have to find something wrong. So to make their job, to validate their job, they have to find problems. So inspectors are usually going to find problems that you're going to have to fix, and so all that was kind of coming down the road. I don't know how long it would be before that gets to me, but I just didn't want to have to deal with it. So that was one of the minor reasons that I kind of wanted to go ahead and sell that property. But mainly I wanted to sell it for the inconvenience factor and the fact that I got a good profit and a good price on the property. And I felt like the market has gone up and down since I've owned the property. I mean, about 2008, kind of at the top of the market. The value went down a little bit, it came back up, and now we're kind of getting towards, to me, maybe the peak of another decline. I don't know, but could be. But I know we're up higher than we were, and so I felt like if I could sell at the top of the market, it's a good time to sell. And so that's what I did. I'm hoping to take this money, reinvest it into another property, and move forward from there.
Here's the numbers on this property. We purchased this property for $58,000. We sold the property for $99,000, which left us with a profit from appreciation of $41,000. Divide that by the 11 years we owned the property, and we had an annual appreciation of $3,727, or about 6.4%. During the 11 years of ownership, we also received rental income of $138,799. We had expenses of $115,647, which left us with a net income of $23,152. If you average that out, our average annual net income was $2,104 a year. Now let's look at our cash-on-cash return. The total purchase price with closing costs was $66,078. We put down a down payment of $61,558, which left us with $59,920 to finance. So if we take our average net income of $2,104 a year and divide that by the down payment that we spent of $6,158, we end up with a 34% annual return. So to explain this a little further, cash on cash return is basically just looking at the return on the actual amount of money you have in the deal. So $6,158 represents the only cash out of pocket that I put into the deal, because the rest of the money came from the bank. It was financed, and that's what paid for the property. The $2,104 a year I was getting as rental income, and the net income from that was about a third of my total expenditure on the property. So that's where I get the 34%. And if that means if I'm getting a third of it back, it means in 3 years I've got my cash back that I put in to purchase the property. So after that, everything else is completely profit. So with all these numbers, some of you may be wondering how I got the $6,000 and $66,000 numbers there. The $6,000 is actually $6,158, a little over $6,000. That's the amount that I actually put in out of pocket in the beginning. The $66,000 was the check I received at close. Now, why $66,000? Well, that was the $99,000 sales price, less the $31,000 that I owed on the outstanding mortgage. That paid off the mortgage on the property, and then there was about $2,000 in closing cost, which leaves me with about $66,000 in profit. So that's how I turned $6,000 into $66,000.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button. And if you'd like to see more, subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the bell for notifications so you know when we release new videos. And if you'd like more information on real estate investing, go to retirerichwithrealestate.com. Until next time, I'm Paul Price, teaching you how to retire rich with real estate.